Morning, friends. Good morning. Welcome. Yeah. Special time. Really, thanks so much for making the effort to come out. It's always so lovely to get together for, to really express and feel and enjoy like love and kindness and compassion and, also intelligence, like really clearly looking at like, what is happening? What's happening in here? What's happening in here? How is this? What's going on? The topic today is like very general. What is real? So like to come together amidst all the things you could do and for things to align to just like actually be together and like generate like kind of that level of curiosity, of inquiry, of exploration, also with kindness, with deep kindness, goodness. Like it's a very special thing to do. Like I really honor anyone who ever does that in any way it ever happens. And today, this morning, we're doing that together. So really, thank you. It's very rare and really, really sacred. So thank you all. So just so it's like a little bit of a framing of the day, the morning session is more of kind of a inquiry or contemplation on the specific topic of kind of, we're just going to go deep into Vajrayana space-time expanse. It's going to be lovely, and we'll see what happens, where it goes. And then there'll be a little break, and if people want, it's just more like kind of free, relaxed time to just hang out. We're going to go somewhere, eat or something. It's just kind of open invitation, feel free. And then the afternoon or the later session, 2 to 4, will be more of a practice-oriented, kind of more time for meditation, to really kind of not just kind of contemplate and kind of like try to refine our perception, refine our understanding, refine our interpretation, but really like apply it and like be it and have it happen, like really turn that on. And we'll just do that in kind of more, intentional, obvious way, which is something we can be doing right this moment too. Like this is all practice. Our mind is happening, our heart's happening, our awareness is happening. Like this is practice. But that's just like a more formal version we'll do together later for people who want. So open invitation. And then what we'll do right now is just have some, 5 or so minutes of just kind of silent meditation of whatever kind of silent meditation you enjoy. And then we'll, like for people interested, there's some like little free, they're like to borrow kind of prayer books on the little table back there. Feel free to borrow them. And the main one we're going to use is this one. It's a daily prayers. There's just like opening prayers. It's called Treasury of Precious Mantra and Prayers. And we'll start on page 14. If you want to join in, feel free. If not, you want to just listen and kind of resonate with it, great. So meet it as you wish. And that'll be page 14 with the prayer of Guru Padmasambhava. And then we'll kind of open the inquiry field and kind of, I'll present in a little bit, and then we'll just kind of go back and forth, and for if people want to like engage certain aspects, then we'll do that together in this space. So that's the general kind of little window here we have. But first we'll start with a silent sit. So always the main point, again and again and again, the Buddha said, the main point is always view. And view is not just a heady conceptual thing. View is like literally like the world I'm in and how I'm in it with others. That's view. It's like, what am I taking as real? How am I showing up for it? And all the beings that includes. Like literally, like what world space, what world shaping am I doing now? How am I in that? Like, how am I like with that? Like kindly, lovingly. And then to keep moving with it as it's happening. That's like technically called view, and there's a lot of real details. This is kind of more of a artistic way, in a way, of kind of like pointing towards it. But the view is always most important, and more secularly, that can be called motivation. So what's the motivation? So always in Buddhism, it's like really generating this kind of heart of compassion, this heart of wisdom, this heart of compassion. And so, sorry, that's funny. And so with this heart of wisdom and compassion, really turn that on. That's always the principal point, to be in compassion, to be in wisdom. And then the question is how, and that's all called the path. There's a bunch of technique and there's a bunch of ways we can embody that, right? But to really turn it on, wisdom and compassion, and everything else is secondary. How your posture is, how your breathing is, what your mind's holding or not, that's all secondary. It's like setting a table to enjoy the meal, with company. The main point's the meal, and even the more main point is actually the company. I mean, honestly. But it got to set the thing, set the scene, set the stage, and like create the atmosphere where it's easy to just be like joyful, kind, relaxed, interested, So the secondary thing is all the supportive ways we like gather together circumstances so it's just natural and easy to relax and like brightly shine. And then other people are like, wow, that shines nice to be around. Like, I shine too. And all of a sudden, this like kind of people start mutually shining on. And that's really called Pure Land. That's just a place where like everyone's shining on. Like it's all love, compassion, and wisdom all the time. And people are mutually boosting each other doing that. So really, and that's just called living the view. When we're doing that with each other, that's really deep, deep practice. So that's like a little bit of a way, kind of artistic way of kind of somewhat orienting towards that. But really, turn on love, turn on kindness, turn on curiosity, and really kindness to yourself. Like we're here, we have so much that's in our favor right now. Like warm, breathing, healthy enough, mind happening, heart happening, world still spinning, all the animals and the microbiome and the fungi and all the stuff. There's so many things. That's just outer stuff. All the language we've gotten, the things that everyone's had to do for us just to still be alive in this life. I mean, just really, there's so many reasons to be grateful. Turn on the gratitude. Really turn on the thankfulness, Wow, okay. So precious, all that's come to this moment to really be here. I want to use it really lovingly, really well. Oh, just shine and just relax. And so we'll just shine and relax together for just like 5 minutes and just kind of enjoy it. Like let yourself just enjoy it. Like, just shine on. Allow your mind to be fresh. It's in touch with like right now happening. Fresh. And clear. Let your ears work. Let your eyes do what they do. Clear. Don't fight yourself from being you. Let your sense doors just be open and happening. And then relax. Just enjoy it. Your sense doors are working. Your awareness is happening. It's present. It's fresh. How amazing we can tune into these different movements of sound, images, even our mind moving, the emotions, the memories. I'm like, so extraordinary this keeps happening. Be fresh. Clear. It's really relaxed. So why we kind of try to allow to keep this flow, like fresh, clear, relaxed, where we keep that kind of flow of our heart and mind, at least open and available, just to be available for it. Now we're going to kind of turn on or spark our intelligence, our creative kind of like power. And here it's so extraordinary, these Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhist teachings, we can direct our heart and our compassion, our intelligence And it doesn't have to stop our fresh, clear, kind of like relaxed flow. We can actually shapeshift into the exact way that's like most kind of helpful right now and still be fresh, clear, relaxed. That's called sadhana practice. We keep this big heart, big mind, vast kindness, and we just intentionally shape it into a world with beings in the world. There's always beings in the world, and we're always one of them. There's always me, us, and the world we share. And the sacred version of that, when it's fresh, clear, relaxed, is called mandala. Pure land. Okay, so one way to do that now is like to have in this world, be with one enlightened being amongst infinite ones, Guru Padmasambhava. He said to bring the teachings of the Buddha from India into Tibet. He actually said to be the emanation of the Buddha, historical Buddha. So what we'll do is kind of shape shift, and really it's actually kind of allowing for it to happen. It's not really so much designing like an engineering problem. It's actually just letting ourselves connect up and be with wisdom happening. It's already happening. We're just like becoming available to like allow ourselves to be wise, kind beings. It's there. It's our nature. And there's so many other wise, kind beings, enlightened beings. And then we kind of like zoom in on specific ones. Oh, Guru Rinpoche, Guru Padmasambhava. We connect with his field of enlightened body, speech, and mind, or mandala, his pure land. And that can happen right now in this room. This room is actually his sacred world. And so it's our sacred world. This is a mandala too. It's much more a question of what we're available for as opposed to trying to make it happen. This is really kind of the very special, somewhat miraculous from one perspective, like nudging of Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhism. It's already happening. We just are showing up to the party. This is really a strong pulse of the teaching is that. It's already sacred. You're already sacred. Divine, everything is already happening. We just let it happen. We kind of align with it and enjoy it. So one way to do that is to just like connect with Guru Rinpoche. And here we go to this prayer book on page 14. And there's extra copies there to borrow on a little table back there if people want. Treasure your precious mantras. We'll recite Guru Rinpoche. It's going to be his heart mantra. Literally how Guru Rinpoche manifests as sound. It's like literally his body as sound, wisdom as sound. And we connect to that. We connect to the outer one, more tangible, like a visualize a Buddha, like Guru Rinpoche. We connect to this more subtle, semi-form one, the mantra, the sound of that Buddha. And then we connect with even more subtle, like actual body of Guru Rinpoche, which is called Absolute Guru Rinpoche. That's called fresh, clear, relaxed awareness. This is the Absolute Guru Rinpoche. That's where we start. Okay? So we're going to have Absolute Guru Rinpoche manifesting as sonic sound semi-form Guru Rinpoche, filling the space as actual body Guru Rinpoche, and the infinite retinue and all these Buddhas in this pure land. This is just called a layered, this is like reality's layered, and we're letting it be layered as it is. And we're just kind of aligning with all these different layers in ourselves, outside, in between. This is really called pure land or pure vision of Vajrayana. This is kind of the topic we're exploring today with what is real. Okay, so we'll just do that right on page 14. Kind of like enjoy it. We'll recite it. If you don't feel like saying it, don't worry about it. It's not a thing. 14. Sam pe ma ge sa dum pola 야zen yogi nurum pema junhe Jesu dang kodu kan roma beko jeji Jesu dam tuji jinji Pemage sadum polam yazen yogi nuruming Pemhajune Jesu rang kodu kan ruman beko jeji Jesu dab dubji jinji lom Pemage sadum polam yazen yogi nurumning Pemajune Jesu dang kodu kan roma beko jeji Jesu dam tubji jinji I'm going to page 17. This top line is the heart mantra of Guru Rinpoche, and we'll recite that just 3 times. Om Ahum Benzang Guru Pem Hazidi Hum Om Ahum Benzang Guru Pem Hazidi Hum Om Ahum Benzang Guru Pem Hazidi Hum. I'm in a playful mood today. We'll recite it 3 more times. The first time, think of this mantra we're reciting starts with us and just instantly shoots throughout the entire universe. Like everything in the universe, this mantra touches. And that's the first one. Om Ahum Benzang Guru Pem Hazidi Hum. Now this one, the entire universe is resonating with this mantra and it all comes back to us. Om Ahum Benzang Guru Pem Hazidi Hum. Now this one is just the spontaneous self-resounding of everything in the universe is just as this mantra. It's just like how things move is as this mantra, like everything, leaving nothing out, but it's all just naturally happening, turning on. Om Ahum Benzang Guru Apema Siddhi Hum. See, so this is really emanating, gathering, and then mingling with wisdom mind of Buddha. That's what we're a little touching into. Then here we'll go to page 20, the lineage prayers. Prayers to lamas of the lineage. We'll just recite in English, page 20. So within this field of Guru Rinpoche, the wisdom mandala of the Buddha, this Buddha, and ourselves, our own Buddha nature, our wisdom, compassion, love, all turned on. And then here we're highlighting different masters that have been like resonating as these fully awakened beings. And they're available to like help now, to like totally sync up with them right now. Samanta Bhadra, Bhadra Sattva, Pramana Bhadra, Sri Singha, Pema Kara, the 25 king and subjects, So, Zur, Nub, Nyak, and the 100 Tirtans and others, the lamas of the Kama and Terma lineages, to you I pray. In the past, you were the Vijayadhara, Nudan Dorje Tsal. In the future, you will be the Buddha Mopataye. Now you are the regent of Padma Sambhava, the actual presence of Drogben Lotsawa. Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, to you I pray. Happy with little, content, and rich in jewels of the three trainings, with loving compassion, seeing all beings as parents. Through threefold realization, you made 3 doors, 3 Vajras. Virtuous monk Pema Soltram, to you I pray. The supreme tradition of the glorious Buddha Padma Sambhava, which is the essential, extraordinary view and doctrine of the early translation school, you keep alive and spread by the light of wisdom. Lord of Dharma, great Kempo, I pray at your lotus feet. In the palace of the Ogmin Dharmadhatu, the essence of all the Buddhas of the 3 times, the one who shows clearly the Dharmakaya of my own mind, we pray to the Honorable Root Guru, glorious Root Teacher, Precious One, dwelling on the lotus seat on the crown of my head, hold me with your great kindness and bestow the accomplishments of body, speech, and mind. Now I'm going to go to 76, page 76. So, and if we want to like really like maintain this as a practice, instantly that whole mandala that with Guru Rinpoche and all the beings instantly dissolves and goes into us, and we dissolve into space. And then just as quickly we instantly re-arise in this kind of as this world, and there's another Buddha Vajrasattva above. So we're connecting with Buddha Vajrasattva. Another Buddha, another name, but they're all Vajrasattva's all the Buddhas, Guru Rinpoche's all the Buddhas, Tara's all the Buddhas. It's really, they're just taking different shapes. It's this infinite nature taking different shapes, so it can be more skillfully, more kindly, or kind of like more easily have us kind of connect with this vast, infinite kind of love, compassion, and wisdom in ourselves and in all beings. So this now mandala re-arises as Vajrasattva's mandala. And this Buddha Vajrasattva is above us, blessing us to completely remove anything that's blocking us from just being fully loving, fully kind, compassionate, wise beings. Like by the blessing light of this Buddha Vajrasattva, everything that's like kind of preventing us from really just naturally being that awesome, it's like just instantly removed by like being in the field of this mantra resonating. Just confidently like let yourself be natural. Let yourself be that loving, that kind, that compassionate, that intelligent. Just allow it. It's already that way. So here we're connecting with this Buddha Vajrasattva, and just really as a support to like have this goodness of ourselves just be happening. Homage to the Tathagata, glorious Vajrasattva. Om Benra Zava Samaya Manu Palaya Benra Zava Denu Patishudnu Mipawa Sudukayo Mipawa Subujayo Mipawa Anuratu Mipawa Zawa Zidi Miprayata Zawa Kama Zame Ziram Chayam Guru Hong Haha Ho Bhagavan Zawa Tata Gata Benza Mame Munza Bindri Bawa Maha Samaya Sa Sadhu Om Bendra Sava Samaya Balaya Bendra Sava Denupa Tishudunu Mipawa Siddhukayo Mipawa Sibujayo Mipawa Anuratu Mipawa Zawa Siddhi Miprayata Zawa Kama Zuzame Zirum Jayam Guru Hum Ha ho Bhagavan Zawa Tada Gata Benda Mame Munza Bindri Bawa Maha Samaya Sadhu Om Bendra Sava Samaya Manubalaya Bendra Sava Tenupa Tishudunu Mipawa Mipawa Sabujayo Mipawa Anuratu Mipawa Sawa Siddhi Miprayata Sawa Kama Zitsame Jayam Guru Hum Ha ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Benza Mame Munza Bindri Bawa Maha Samaya Sadhu Om Bendra Sava Samaya Manubalaya Bendra Sava Tenupa Dunu Mipawa Siddhukayo Mipawa Sibujayo Mipawa Hanuratu Mipawa Sawa Siddhi Miprayata Kama Zuzame Taram Chayam Guru Hum Ha ho Bhagavan Tata Gata Benza Mame Munza Bindri Bawa Maha Samaya Sadhu Now just confidently realize that did happen. Be full, 100% love, compassion, and wisdom. Om Bendra Sava Hung, 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 Om Bendra Sava Hung. Om Bendra Sava Hung, 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 Om Bendra Sava Hung. Now we'll again flip pages to 24. Page 24, offering the mandala and requesting kind of the teachings, like to align with kind of the flow of Dharma, of the nature. First, we're honoring that goodness in ourselves and in all beings, and in the fully awakened ones who just, that's fully on, fully available. So first we honor that, like to make a really strong, bright connection, and to like really just celebrate that goodness, that intelligence. And then requesting the teachings, like anything that can help us actually keep this on, keep this shine on. Then we're like kind of really aligning, attuning to like, that's called Dharma. Anything that really helps that goodness, that love, compassion, and wisdom stay on, that's called Dharma, or the path. So first, 24. The earth anointed with perfumed water and strewn with flowers, Mount Meru and the 4 continents ornamented with sun and moon, by offering them visualized as a Buddha field, may all beings enjoy the Pure Land. Idam Guru Ratnam Mandala Kanniryatayami. According to the wishes of sentient beings and their capacities, for the high and low, common and uncommon vehicles, please turn the wheel of Dharma. Thank you, friends. Thank you. That's all called Nundro. Foundation. We're setting the foundation to be real, to be fresh. The question today is, what is real? And really, like the big, longer kind of thing is like we're actually creating a world and then dissolving a world. This is very Vajrayana, Tibetan Buddhist kind of tech. Creation stage, completion stage. Create the mandala, dissolve the mandala. This is like very foundational Tibetan Buddhist kind of orientation. So always, what Rinpoche is, I'm going to like just kind of like lay out some bit of a kind of meal, and then we'll eat it together, okay? So first the meal is happening, and then we'll kind of like engage in questions, things, that kind of stuff, okay? So the meal. Always Rinpoches, all these great masters, Venerable Khenpo Rinpoches, Mipham Rinpoches, some of these Dudjom Rinpoche, there's so many masters that have emphasized these three noble ones. Noble beginning, noble middle, noble end. The noble way to start, the noble way to continue, the noble way to like seal it up. Every moment has this beginning, opening, arising, dissolving, completing. Every moment has that, every life has that, every world has that, every universe has that. Open, grow, dissolve, complete. Constantly birth, life, death. It's just constantly a part of every moment. Every breath has that. It's just how it is. So we're trying to do it nobly, like ennobled, like with our goodness on as we go through this practice of being born and being around and leaving. So then we get born again, do stuff again, and leave again. That's called a breath. It's called an hour. It's called a day. It's just literally what's happening. We're going to try to do this nobly with that love and compassion and wisdom on. So always these are called the three frames, three noble ones, noble beginning, middle, and end. And this is like just key core Tibetan Buddhist framing. If you only remember, I'm going to put out some basic framing. Basic meaning like if you only remember one of them, you'll have the entire path. And like you can like take it and use it for your life, and it'll serve you, like it'll lead you to enlightenment. Okay, so this is one of them, the three noble ones. Noble beginning is always refuge and bodhicitta in the Buddhist context. Refuge, bodhicitta. We just did that. Noble middle in the kind of more outer layer of Tibetan or of Buddhism, the outer layer is always called first shamatha or shine, calm, abiding. We need to like stay put in a way that's fresh, clear, and relaxed. But we do that by holding an object. We use a support to stay fresh, clear, and relaxed. That's called shamatha, calm, abiding. Then the second part of the noble middle is called vipassana, insight, extraordinary seeing. We stay fresh, clear, and relaxed, but we're not relying on anything to hold ourselves there. We recognize that's how our awareness is. We don't need to hold it that way. The holding thing was just so we could get used to it, because we're so used to not being fresh, clear, and relaxed. So we temporarily use something to hold on to, an object of meditation. But now the second phase of that, as it kind of matures or opens or trusts itself more, our awareness trusts its intelligence more, we give up the holding and we just stay fresh, clear, relaxed. These 3 points, fresh, clear, relaxed, they're like key Dzogchen points, right? If you remember those 3 points, this will serve you well. Fresh, clear, relaxed. We can go into that later if we want. Sounds so simple, but it includes a ton of teachings. So that's shamatha and vipassana, calm abiding and extraordinary seeing or insight. First, we're going to calmly abide in how we are with love, compassion, and wisdom on. Then we're going to release any holding and just be love, compassion, and wisdom happening. And we're syncing up with everything else that's loving, compassionate, and wise. That's called insight. This is the noble middle of every practice. The Tibetan Buddhist, or the inner layer of how to approach that same tech, that same orientation. With the Tibetan Buddhist, the more esoteric, the more subtle, is called creation and completion stage. So the noble middle, so the calm abiding and vipassana insight, and the Vajrayana version of that is creation stage, completion stage. Creation stage, or Kerim, we're holding onto pure body. It's called Deity, pure body. We're holding onto pure sound, mantra, pure sound. And we're holding onto pure mind, Dharmakaya, wisdom awareness. There's a lot of words to point towards these things. Deity, mantra, Dharmakaya. That's called pure body, pure speech, pure mind. So with creation stage, we're turning on pure body, pure speech, pure mind. What does that mean, body? Pure, literal, tangible stuff we can like easily engage with. Form. The more subtle version of that is semi-form. It's called sound. The even more subtle version of that is called formless. Mind. Body, speech, mind. Form, sound, space. This is all bread and butter Tibetan Buddhist stuff that's like really key foundational framework stuff that's just always baked into how it all works. Pure body, pure speech, pure mind. Pure body is called deity. Pure speech is called mantra. Pure mind is called wisdom awareness or Rigpa, or there's a lot of different ways to point towards it. Okay, so this is always the noble middle in Tibetan Buddhist approach. In Tibetan Buddhist, I mean, it's just like actually indestructible vehicle. It's like connecting with the indestructible nature of pure body, pure speech, and mind. And that manifested in Tibet for many centuries and still is there. And so it's called Tibetan Buddhism, but it's actually how the nature is. And Tibet is like one instance of all these cultural enactments of how to do that and build buildings around it and create sadhana practices and do all this. But it's not something specifically located to Tibet, planet Earth, Tibet, you know? It did that, it flourished and still is in that spot. And it can also be like in Brooklyn, you know? And it's still Tibetan Buddhism. It's the same thing. It's just, it hasn't stayed in Brooklyn and done its thing to be called Brooklyn Buddhism yet. And like still maintain the like indestructible Vajra wisdom nature there, right? Give it some time and put in some good prayers. We hope it does, you know? But Manhattan Buddhism, whatever, Earth Buddhism, it's just a big universe. Like any place where the indestructible nature of pure body, pure speech, and pure mind is the resonating pulse of that, all the forms, sounds, and movements of awareness in that space, that's called Tibetan Buddhism. Okay? So always the noble middle is creation and completion for the Tibetan Buddhist approach. We create a mandala. We're in it. It does activities with beings, activities, wisdom lights, all these powers and forms take shape, and it's all very specific according to what practice we're doing, called a sadhana. Which actual mandala are we in? What does it look like? Who's there? What's happening? That's all pure body stuff and pure sound. This is called pure relative truth. Pure stuff that's actually moving and interacting. That's relative, but pure. Deity and mantra. How wisdom, compassion, and love happens when it's not filtered through like all this self-importance, self-absorption, self-cherishing, self-centeredness. It's like how it happens when we release that teeny tiny little pocket of always me is the main character of everything. We release that and just be a part of the relational field of reality happening. That's called pure body, pure speech, pure mind. Then the third noble conclusion, is always dedication and aspiration. You're like anything we did in that enlightened world, that pure world of body, speech, and mind, any goodness that happened, it could be the most subtle, seemingly insignificant thing. It could be a gigantic, awesome, amazing thing. We give it all away. So that it's called dedicating the merit. May this, whatever we did that was positive, that was natural, that was lovely in any way, may this become the perfect condition for every single being to achieve enlightenment. So we really start with this big view. That's what we're actually finishing or completing with this big view. That's where we started. And that's what we were trying to maintain the whole time. And now we're kind of like sealing it off. We come back to that initial kind of like way we started. And I can go into that. We like did it already. And it's good to highlight and like make it more conscious and aware so we can more creatively engage it. Like have a more flexible kind of like ability to like be with it as it's happening. But so dedicating the merit, that's always the beginning part of this third noble one. We give away all the positive stuff that just happened specifically for the enlightenment of every being. Okay? No one's left out. And it's for their complete awakening. So they're just their naturalness to 100% be on all the time. Never turn off again. And then as aspiration prayers is the second part of it. We aspire that, okay, I just did this thing that was good. I aspire to do it even better, just like the Buddhas do it. Just exactly like Manjushri and Samantabhadra and the Buddhas Shakyamuni and Tara and Vajrasattva and White Umbrella. And there's just, once you get into the deep pantheon of like how many Buddhas there are, and there's just so many. There's so many Bodhisattvas. There's so many Arhats. It's just like so many of them. These awakened beings. And that's constantly what they're doing, is just serving beings and serving the teachings now. serving the path, like anything that supports that naturalness of beings to turn on. They're just constantly trying to be that, do that, support that, nourish that, whatever, for every single being. So we aspire to be just like them. And we can use it. It's like, oh, there's this amazingly profound tech that seems so simple in Vajrayana. We can just say, whatever I just did, may I aspire that is done exactly the way that Manjushri would do it. Exactly the way Tara would do it. Our teacher, Venerable Khenpo Serong Rinpoche, he just gave a winter retreat for some 7 or so days, and like the main topic was the power, the reality of aspiration. If we orient our mind and our heart to really be this big, really be this like boundless, it actually works. It actually is reality. Aspiring isn't just like throwing a pebble in a pond with a wish or something, like your birthday candle blow out. It's like aspiring is like how we are like literally laying the grooves of realities to be birthed in like now and into the future. It's like literally these patterns for like how all of reality is going to like shape through like as time and space keeps moving. It's like it's like a specific worldview like that, to believe in that. But the Buddha really taught the power of mind, the power of heart. It's always heart-mind. Really so powerful. So anyway, to pull back, 3 noble ones. Noble beginning is refuge and bodhichitta. Noble middle is either calm abiding and insight or creation and completion stage. And noble conclusion is always dedicating the merit and aspiring. These 3 frames, they say anything you do in these 3 frames becomes a complete practice. It could be literally caring for babies. It could be doing the garbage. It could be the most sublime, the most profane. It could be like, if we're holding these 3 frames, it's a complete practice that will lead to enlightenment of all beings. Cool, yeah, what you got, Hazel?
I don't think you explained the completion phase.
Yeah, cool. And I didn't explain refuge and bodhicitta either. Thank you. Yeah, so the completion, and that's what I'll kind of open it more for sure. So first, we create this world, pure body and pure speech, happening with pure mind. So pure form, pure semi-form, pure formless, pure body, pure speech, pure mind. That's called mandala. That's a sacred world. That's the indestructible nature when it happens, not filtered through grasping duality mind, me first always, I'm the most important, but it's like how it naturally permeates all of space and time, how reality functions before it gets squeezed into that tiny little hold squeeze pattern. It's called naturalness or mandala, sacred world. So the dissolution is like, first, what we're doing is like on the path trying to get used to this, become more familiar with like how reality can be like this. We're holding it. It's a shamatha. Like we're actually, okay, I'm visualizing this Buddha and it looks like this, and I'm visualizing myself and I look like this, and there's certain other beings there, and it's all very specifically like talked about in a sadhana or a prayer book practice, one of these. And it's literally like, this is like literally a play-by-play of like what's happening in the sacred world. It's like first it starts like this, and then it changes this, and then this sound emanates, and then this color happens, and then I take a shape, and then there's a Buddha, and it literally, like reading through the text is like we're literally just like vocalizing what our meditation should be doing. Right? So we're not just like reading about like a place on the map and like maybe one day I'll be in Paris or whatever. Like we're actually, it's just saying, now this is happening, now this is happening, now I'm doing this, now my mind's doing this, now it's doing this. Like, and that's where it's actually a meditative practice. We're not just saying something and then we get to the meditation at the end, which means silently doing nothing. That's one way to meditate. But another way is we engage body and speech too. And like we engaged our speech and we're like saying this, we engage our body, and like we're like body in like the more subtle level is like all these imagined bodies, visualized bodies, doing actions. It's called visualization. Okay, and so then the second part of this is like dissolving that holding, like letting it all dissolve back into its most subtle form, or structure, the formless, where it started was mind. So the dissolving is like, okay, now the Buddha doesn't need to be held in any way. My Buddha nature doesn't need to be in a nice little jar. Like, it can be in a jar. You can put space in a jar, you know? And you don't need a jar for the space to be there. It's there. So like dissolving is like, we think we need to hold the thing in a certain way, but actually if you open it, it's happening just fine. And don't hold. The dissolving is like, we're not trying to box the thing at all. Our heart doesn't need a box. It can be boxed, but it doesn't need it. And so we're getting used to both ways. You can color in the lines, and you can color outside of them. It's just how it is. Like the water can flow as a river, and it can warm up and be mist and percolate through, like totally permeate the air, or it can like block and lock into place and basically be immovable. It's like it's all the same. It's just like reality is very flexible. And so creation is like, how can this patterned reality be in a way that actually is coherent? It's not just however I want it. It actually has to be patterned that works. It's not like H3O. It's like H2O. Like the karma is exact. Like relationship is exact. But the power here of like what is real is like we can tune into different ways that reality manifests, that a world is born and continues and dissolves. We can actually do it. There's a lot of options on the table. But when we birth a world, like world shape, like which is called like creation stage. When we birth it, it actually has to be patterned in a way that works. That's why we're relying on a sadhana that says, this is how the mandala works in this case. And then we like get used to it and we learn about it and we deepen. We have a bunch of aha moments and we have a bunch of like, oh, dang, I didn't see that about myself. Oh, relax, release. Oh, aha, you know, there's so many things that happen if we like hold ourselves in any of these Vajrayana practices for a while, because they're pure worlds designed to like show us like mirrors, like this is how amazing you are. This is how amazing everything is, all the beings. And that's a very kind of interesting process to be in. And a lovely one. It's called a path of awakening. It's really important to be in it and stay in a world. But it's patterned. But the patterns, you know, flowing water into misty water, into frozen water, the patterns can shift. But it has to transition in ways that actually are coherent. It's not just randomly throwing some, I mean, it's really, this is a big point. On the relative level, the patterns always have to follow a line. Even if one world arises and then it dissolves and another one arises and it seems different, that's all about honoring relative truth and kind of the ultimate truth at the same time. It's all dynamic, ever moving. And it always shows up exactly, like to the T. Perfect, infallible relative cause, condition, and effect. But that doesn't mean it's locked into place because it's dynamic. So one world can change into another world, can change into another world. Doesn't that happen with us every moment? I'm in happy world. Something happens, I'm in sad world. Like literally, it's like completely changes the tone and shape and highlighting. Our brains are these like amazing embodiments that we totally are birthing all these worlds all the time. It's not like we're just like pick a color red and it's just like happening over here. It's just like we're syncing up with all these layers of experience. This completely amazing genius body-mind structure of a human being does this. And our awareness does that. Like to be in such a body with an awareness that can definitely do that is really a total lottery ticket. Like most bodies don't have that full spectrum flexibility. Like you put that amazing Buddha nature awareness in a cricket, that cricket vehicle body is like a lot more limited. Can't do as much as the human one. For better or for worse, right? Cricket not going to destroy the galaxy either, right? But its mind has the potential, it's the same exact Buddha nature as mine, as yours. It literally is infinite power, infinite creativity, infinite wisdom. It just happens to be in a cricket body, which is what happens if you get amnesia. You're in a vehicle and all of a sudden part of it turns off, you know? Or you take caffeine and all of a sudden part of the vehicle turns on, and you go to sleep, part of the vehicle shuts down. It's like this unfathomably amazing awareness is always sensitive to its relative worlding. Some of that we're aware of, some of it we're not. Like, what's the chemistry in my body now? I can't even hardly, where's my gallbladder? I can't even point to where my gallbladder is. But it's in there, and it has a big effect on like what this awareness is doing right now. So that's a big part of the trust of Vajrayana. We don't have to know the exact design plan of every little detail of a world for it to do its thing. I don't have to fully understand how this human body works to get a ton of benefit from it. But if I learn certain parts of it that are really relevant, like I can definitely become more freshly, clearly, relaxedly natural. So there's a discriminating wisdom there. What's helpful to learn about and know and for me now, and what's not as helpful for me to learn about and know for me now. And different for different bodies and beings. So creation, completion. We're specifically worlding with pure body, pure speech, and pure mind, and then we give up any holding onto any specific pattern, and we let the pattern dissolve back into like awareness from which it came from. So that's like kind of creation, completion. And then that noble beginning, which I'll just say very, very lightly, it's like foundational. It's always bedrock of any of this. If we don't do the foundation well, all the rest is basically talk. Refuge and Bodhichitta. Like first we have to, like these 4 mind turnings again and again. I mean, there's a tattoo artist in the room. There's a bunch of stuff like that you can tattoo. Just like the 4 mind turnings, the 3 noble ones, creation, completion. Like they're just basically like stuff that if only this stuff survives, like 1,000 years from now, there's like a complete path to enlightenment. And like it's super varied and versatile. Like it's a handful of little formulas that like do a bunch of things. So one of them is like refuge and bodhicitta. And refuge is always based on, first you have to be interested in love, compassion, and wisdom. So how do we turn our minds towards that? Like how do we turn our hearts and minds towards love, compassion, and wisdom? They're called 4 mind turnings. We turn towards the Dharma. Like, and so I'm not going to go into this extensively, but I'll just say it, and then we can explore it more if we want. First mind turning is precious human embodiment. 18 endowments. Really a bunch to be grateful for. Turn that on. So then what? How am I going to use this well? Because tick, 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 tick. Like death is coming. This body has a very specific lifespan. And stuff can just happen out of the blue and stop it too, you know? I don't know when that this super special situation is going to like end and have to transition into another body. Hopefully not a cricket body. You know what I mean? Like hopefully I get another really better body, even better. Like, I don't know. Oh, it's so funny. I'm not going to say that reference. I was like, which human body would I want to be in? I was like, no, I'll just like leave that. So, anyway, I'll leave that. So, it's impermanent. And then, but what does that mean? All this body and mind and body, they follow patterns. It's cause, condition, and effect, or karma. And this is infallible. It's like this infinite history of causes and conditions and effects that largely my mind has done in different bodies with other bodies in other worlds and this world and all these layers. That's all called karma, cause, condition, and effect. But it all doesn't come to fruition instantly at the same time. It's like only so much of it manifests at once because it requires very specific conditions for a moment to happen. And so only certain conditions are around, and so they kind of happen and they're born. That's called a world. The problem we have is we always think the world I'm in is the real one. And usually the only one. It's a really strong habit. This is really real. This, how I am now, is real. What's most apparent to me now, that's the real stuff. Like, this is all deep duality being habit stuff. Because it's this teeny tiny slice of a very extensive universe that I'm a part of. And you can feel what's happening on Bowery right now if you tune in. Like the Buddhists can tune into a bunch more than just like a block away. It's a big universe the Buddhas are tuning into tons of stuff. What's the gravitational pull of Jupiter on your body right now? Like, you can train in that. Like, it's happening. But like, life is short too. Is that you want to spend 5 years trying to train to feel the gravitational pull of Jupiter? Like, or pick a city or pick a thing. Like, do you want to spend 30 years trying to levitate or what? I mean, or do you want to wake up? And along the way, like, also get some ability to like help beings. Anyway, so this is karma. It's all cause, condition, and effect. What's available, and it's infallible. Like what actually happens when the causes come together with the conditions, you get the effect, which is this moment of reality happening. That is the effect. It just keeps changing every moment. And then we don't recognize the impermanence, and so we freeze frame into this moment of real reality. This world is really real. And that becomes this giant headache because this little way of boxing reality keeps slamming against all the other ways reality is happening that I'm totally not willing to be with because, like, that's not real. And this is called samsara, the fourth point. Suffering. When I lock into my certain patterned way of being and refuse the change of how it's dynamically always internested with all these other connective streams called karma, I refuse to move with it. To let it breathe in, to have a permeable discerning membrane, let it come in, let it go out. And that locking mechanism, that holding, when it meets the actual reality of like cause, condition, and effect, things moving, my resistance to move with what's happening is called suffering, dissatisfaction. And I keep doing it. And I could tell because like I'm always trying to be happy. Why? Because I don't feel happy right now. And why am I not happy now? Because I'm not in touch with the flow of reality. I like want reality to meet me. And it's not meeting me every time. And I'm like, this stuff needs to change to meet me. Then I'll be happy. Instead of like be a part of a flowing reality and all of a sudden, wow, it's really nice to just flow with experience, with intelligence, with kindness, with love, with compassion and wisdom. Not just glow with the flow of any toxic anything, but like with discernment. It's always with wisdom and compassion on. So anyway, that's the 4 mind turnings. Precious human embodiment, endowed with 18 endowments. Impermanence, karma, samsara. These 4. This is called outer nundro, common nundro. This just turns our minds so we're actually interested in Dharma. Love, compassion, and wisdom. But then once we're interested in Dharma, then what's the next step? We actually take refuge and we're like, I want to do all the supportive things that help love, compassion, and wisdom in myself and all beings, like be on all the time. That's called path. We commit to a path that does that, to a way of being, to being loving, compassionate, and wise. That's called refuge. Outer refuge, innermost refuge. There's just all this is layered. Everything in reality is layered. And so like, and it's infinitely layerable. But so there's layers there that I'm not saying, talking about. But so then, okay, so we turn towards Dharma. We want to follow a path of love, compassion, and wisdom. But like all beings are in this. Like we all want to be happy. No one wants to suffer. So we like kind of open our heart and we're like, oh, like just like I want to be happy. Like you want to be happy. You want to be happy. You want to be happy. Literally every cricket, every being, every microbe, every moment of mind wants to be happy. Any mind, any body, any world. It's always the orienting compass of every moment of mind. And that means it doesn't want to suffer. It's the common, that if we're trying to look for a universal feature in relative reality, His Holiness Dalai Lama, he found it, All beings want to be happy. No one wants to suffer. And that's just key, like Shantideva. That's like such a core Buddhist teaching. That is the common denominator of every sentient being. And so we generate great compassion. All beings want to be free of suffering and its causes. All beings want to have happiness and its causes. And so I am going to try to become fully enlightened so I can actually know how to help that happen. And then do it. Like keep showing up to have that happen. That's called a way of bodhisattva. Those courageous for the enlightenment of all beings. It's the total X factor secret sauce of every meta problem, meaning crisis, culture war, any kind of big complex problem we'll ever come across. Bodhicitta is the secret sauce. In every case, I'm not kidding you. Pick a complex problem. If you start with bodhicitta, all of a sudden the entire thing realigns to be like a path that gets a lot easier to happen. So I'm just going to leave that there. I've looked at some meta crisis stuff a little bit. I've looked at some meaning crisis stuff a little bit. I've looked at some culture wars a little bit. The thing that's like the low-hanging fruit in Buddhist, Mahayana Buddhist thing is like, if you do bodhicitta, it all forks towards win-win good for all beings. If you don't do that bodhicitta move, love, compassion, and wisdom for all beings, it's going to be some version of selfishness. Whether it's like Earth-centric and all the other planets, screw them, or it's human-centric and all the other beings, who cares, or it's like our epic-centric of however many, at a certain point, it's going to hit the edge of that view, that world, and what it leaves out is going to be a war. Like, it's going to hit a boundary, and then the other is going to be there, and all of a sudden, it's going to have an other to fight. Like, bodhicitta completely removes that boundary. It's all beings, any kind, wherever they are, however they are, until they're all free of suffering and the causes of suffering. I will keep showing up to support them the way that supports them on their terms. That's why there's never a war. The Buddha always shapeshifts to meet the sentient being. That's called compassion. That's the kindness of the Buddhas. How to shapeshift into the hazel world space. The Buddha, like, how can be the perfect fit for this moment. And then the Buddha does that. And then if hazel's receptive, if Aza's receptive, if Sada's receptive, whatever, then that's called like the Buddha's wisdom, and like we're receptive to it, and it like becomes the perfect fit because we align with like that wisdom field, and all of a sudden it's like awesome. Like, oh, this is like sweet. This is like mandala now. That's called a Tibetan Buddhist creation stage. We're just aligning with the wisdom field that we're a part of, and if we like when we show up and we start like, oh, this is really happening. Then, oh, it is happening. Oh, and I lost it. And so then, how do I turn back on, you know? That's called path. There's like a lot of moments of being enlightened along the path, not just one big bang at the end. A lot of micro moments of enlightenment. A lot of teachers. You can have an authentic moment of enlightened awareness. It's called Dragpa, and it's there, and it's real, and it's like, in the Tantra, you can get just in the seeing first path, the third path of the seeing path of actual how a bodhicitta or bodhisattva experiences outer and inner. Emptiness of other, emptiness of self. You can have it right now. Literally be like as a full-on actualized bodhisattva is on the first bhumi. The Tantras say that's possible. The sutra teachings say it takes 3 countless eons to just have that moment happen. This is a question of view. That's why the view is always the most important thing. It's all a question of what view am I in, what world shaping am I in and available for, and that's going to determine all the patterns I line up with. Yeah, please. What's your name again?
I'm Gavin.
Gavin, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I know, like, traditionally in Vajrayana practices, you start with Refuge and Bodhichitta.
Always.
In my own personal practice, I feel like those words kind of feel emptier at the beginning of the practice, like before like a shamatha practice.
Okay.
And when I've practiced in like more like Zen settings,
Cool.
They usually recite it at the end. And I've noticed it feels more natural at the end when you've kind of like established like a really firm basis in like shamatha. And I was just wondering if anyone else like has that experience, if that's like all right to kind of recite it at the end, because it feels very difficult to embody that when there's just so much going on in here, and like, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, Gavin. Yay. I mean, there's like always, like any Buddhist answer, whether they're going to tell it to you or not, is always a both and. It's always layered, right? So to say authenticity, like to really feel it, show up for it, that's like what we're aiming for when it's on and we're fresh and familiar and relaxed and natural, like a course. Like that's like what we're aiming for. And when we're in it, it's self-evident. Like, oh, this is what I'm aiming for, and this is it, you know? And then there's all the other times we're not that. Like it's not on, it's not fresh, it's not clear, it's not relaxed. And at that point, there's definitely a bunch of fake it till you make it stuff. Where you just like, or you like basically poise yourself to be available for the naturalness to happen. Like, and then the naturalness happens and you really feel it and your heart's in it and your mind is in it and it's easy. And then it fades and you lose it and then you need to like poise again, right? It's like in Zen, still you'd be like, sit up straight, clear the breath or whatever. Like, okay, come back to the Zazen. Like, and I get it. There's all the language games around all that. And I'm just basically tired of a lot of people. It's entertaining. I like philosophy. It's entertaining to play language games. Like some people get a lot of like bliss something out of it, which is good. It's also actually part of the path, like to really get clear about your concepts and refine them, to have better mapping of how reality's happening. And like, there's just so, like, almost all of it. I mean, there's just two ways to approach this. Almost all of it's faking it. I mean, do you really have to sit with an exact posture in Zazen for it to be Zazen? Like, not the for real Zazen masters, you know? But they'll be like, if you're not there, they'll like totally make you be in that posture. Like, but almost all of it's faking it. That's one view. That's more sutra view. The tantra view is almost none of it is faking it. We just don't see it. Like it's just our awareness or our view, our heart and our mind just aren't seeing clearly. We're always a part of the flow of reality. Always. And reality is naturally loving, compassionate, and wise. It always is part of this infinite fields of relational matrices. Cause, condition, and effect. Interdependence. Pratitya samappada. We can never not be in cause, condition, and effect. It is the natural condition of reality. There's no way to not be in reality. That's all it is naturalness. But if our mind is not aware of that, it can totally seem like that's not true. And when we're really convinced that it's not true and I need to do a bunch of stuff to be with reality, like what's actually real or the fruit or to be enlightened or like, then there's a whole path to get there. So it's always both. It depends on the view, not just the conceptual view of I orient in a sutra way or I orient in a tantra way. It's like actually what's the lived world-making, world-shaping breathing that I'm in my body with others. And so yeah, what do you got?
Is that kind of similar to like intuition? I feel like I remember like a Ram Dass talk or something about like the importance of intuition in your own practice.
Cool.
And that always feels like a difficult thing because you don't know if you're deceiving yourself or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. Cool. There's so many awesome things you're bringing up, and there's so many threads we can follow. Almost always, like the one safety, general guardrails. If you're in a lineage, and you actually feel responsibility to like carefully be with it, like to learn from it, and not like teach it, but like be taught by it, like really learn from the Buddha's teaching as opposed to like tweak 2.0 Buddhism or something. Like if you're in a lineage, that's like a giant safety field of like wisdom alignment stuff. And like that means actual beings, they're actually alive and breathing and waking and sleeping, like who are in that lineage, who are like embodying it, who have accountability to it, who are responsible for it. That can prevent so many problems. Like it really, like, it prevents a ton of problems. Because to just take Buddhism as tech and plug it and play it however you want it in whatever world you want to make, however you want to design the thing, it's basically like disasters waiting to happen. Because Buddha never taught it as just like a set of techniques. It's not just like, right mindfulness. It's right mindfulness, right livelihood, right speech, right view, right intention. It's like, it's always an ecology. Buddha always taught an ecology. Ecology of body, ecology of mind, ecology of bodies, relationships, that's called Sangha. Like, he always taught this internested ecologies of relational fields, like as a complete package. That's called a coherent world. He never just said, do this one little tech. Like, I mean, it's like, which it's just, we're kind of in tech obsessed time where like we think we can extract like the one equation and just like put it wherever. But that's a big safety thing, is like, if we don't approach Buddhism that way, we keep it in like living pattern systems called ecologies. Like, and I'm not saying we mandate that for everyone, but for ourselves, you know what I mean? Like, and we see, oh, this is a more like relational approach. It's not just like what I want to get out of it or what I understand. It's like being available. This is not just about me and all these beings and like this field of masters. Like, you can get expert advice that helps kind of streamline the process, and there's like other layers of masters, like not just only physical, literal, fleshy, embodied one. It's like a very intricate web of relationships we're a part of. It's like called reality. And the outer way of like looking at it is like interdependence, pratityasamutpada. The inner way to look at it is called mandala. Actual just wisdom. It's just wisdom awareness happening in all these varieties of ways. So I'm like throwing a bunch of things back, and just seeing maybe some part of it's something. Anyone else want to? Yeah, we can open it. Anybody want to throw down?